Antonio Brown is out of his fucking mind. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger was bad enough to go at. Mike Tomlin, respectable, hardworking coach. I mean, I let a lot of love for Mike Tomlin. He's a great guy, great coach, great leader, great mentor in your locker room. A lot of players, like, if anyone could play for a coach, a lot of players would be like, you Mike Tomlin, that's my ideal coach. Like Antonio Brown completely disrespected him, called Bruce Arians a racist, and then got traded to the Raiders. They signed him for a 3-year deal where he had $50 million guaranteed as a wide receiver, which is absolutely ridiculous. One of the most greatest trajectories ever. And then he would have had $30 million guaranteed if he could just keep his shit together for a week with the Raiders. Antonio Brown couldn't do that. And then he gets cut from the Raiders, heads to the New England Patriots, where they're like, all right, well, we'll give him a chance because Tom Brady is going to vouch for me because Tom Brady wants to play with one of the best receivers of all time. And then what does he do? Immediately after that, a sexual assault allegation comes out. So Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick, they're like, we don't want this on our locker room. We have to cut him. And then Tom Brady vouches for him again. Guess what? He lets you live at his house with him and then gives him a chance, gives him a Super Bowl ring where Antonio Brown had 2 touchdowns, I believe, in the Super Bowl. And then he gives him a chance. And then Antonio Brown, what does he do with that? Oh, he flips out on the sideline, takes his shoulder pads off, takes his shirt off, runs to the locker room, dances in the end zone while his team is still on the field, lies and said he still had an injury even though he was out there playing, then goes on a podcast and says, why would I have, like, I'm the best player. He said he's the best receiver on the Bucs. So, okay. But why do I have an incentive-based contract? And he was just complaining about his only contract was incentive based, but like no one else wanted you. And the only reason you're there is because of Tom Brady. And then you're ripping him because he's calling out Rob Gronkowski and throwing to Rob Gronkowski because Rob Gronkowski is his boy. He's the most reliable target he's had throughout his career. So it's like he's mad at Rob Gronkowski, who, guess what? He also had an incentive based contract. It's not like Tom Brady makes the decisions financially on that team. So he's acting like Tom Brady's the GM who decides how much everyone gets paid, which Tom Brady's not going to decide your contract. And you didn't get any offers from anyone else. And the fact that you got legitimately dissed by Logan Paul and you guys were supposed to fight. And then when the check came, you didn't want to fight him. Like your entire career has just been drama, drama, drama. And then you're trying to make money by acting insane and being a lunatic. And you're trying to be a Kardashian. And it's just not accepted in the NFL. You're not going to get another start in your career.
There's nobody on earth that would want AB at this point because out of any diva, like I think of all-time great diva receivers, think about like Terrell Owens. I don't know if I would call Chad Ochocinco a diva, but he had his moments.
He had boners.
He did take Viagra before every game. That's a fact. You can look it up. But Antonio Brown is the epitome of head case. He's a head case. I mean, ultimately, you look at his history in Pittsburgh. He had one of the greatest wide receiver runs in the history of the NFL. Could have been literally probably the best wide receiver of all time. But then you feud with Big Ben. You feud with Mike Tomlin, who is a player's coach. And then, like you mentioned, you ran through the whole history of him. Couldn't succeed in New England, which a lot of careers have been turned back to anew with Tampa Bay. And then he plays with Brady, and then that shit happens. So literally, if you can't succeed with Tom Brady or New England or Pittsburgh,
he let you live in his house.
We're talking about somebody who couldn't succeed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were a Class A organization, couldn't succeed in New England, which is another Class A organization, and you couldn't succeed in Tampa Bay with Tom Brady, who let you live on his couch. So ultimately, if you can't succeed with them, what makes you think that a team that is desperate for another receiver, maybe like, I don't know, a struggling organization or a team that wants to make a playoff push, why would they want you? Because you're going to be a distraction to the team.
Yeah, not only that, he straight up lied about his injury because the scandal came out. COVID rules, whatever. You're not supposed to bring girls into the locker room. Well, he brought in famous OnlyFans star who is famous for licking toilet seats. Then he brings her into his room, and then she basically released a tape where Antonio Brown explained his whole plan to flip out, run into the end zone, get attention. So Antonio Brown was planning this. This was premeditated, and then Antonio Brown was playing for a bonus, but he's like on the Full Send podcast with Bob Menery, he's trying to say that, oh, there's no one, who else is better than me on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Well, why am I making less than them? Well, you're not making less than them because no one else wants you because you're a fucking lunatic who decided it was a good idea to bleach his mustache yellow.
Yeah. He was on
Like, is Mike Evans that much worse than you? Is Chris Godwin that much worse than you?
they're better than him because they shut the fuck up and
Yeah.
they play their game and they play at a high level. He featured on Clubhouse as well, which is kind of like a live stream podcast platform. And same shit, just talking about how he was hurt and Bruce Arians was forcing him back into the game. But I don't think I believe it because why would I? With how he is, with all the lies that he's said
Yeah,
throughout his career.
you called Bruce Arians a racist. How am I gonna believe you? Like, I can't believe you. Like, has anyone else in the media? We live in cancel culture where anything racist you say, someone's gonna find it. John Gruden got fired for some emails he said.
He also has the most culturally diverse staff in the NFL.
Yeah, he has Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles, who are both of his coordinators, and then his entire team is like one of the tightest knit units. They're the only Super Bowl team to retain every single player and bring them back on their roster. Bruce Arians a racist. That's not going to happen. Plus, he's been in the league for how long?
Like forever.
Yeah, exactly. So you already cried wolf once. How are we supposed to believe you? You cried wolf with Big Ben. You cried wolf with Mike Tomlin. You cried wolf with the Raiders, and you didn't even play for the Raiders. You get one of the biggest contracts of your life. You can keep it together for a week to get $30 million.